have told thee the philosophy of knowledge. Now listen, and I will explain the philosophy of action, by means of which, O Arjuna, thou shalt break through the bondage of all action. On this path, endeavor is never wasted, nor can it ever be repressed. Even a very little of its practice protects one from great danger. By its means, the straying intellect becomes steadied in the contemplation of one object only, whereas the minds of the irresolute stray into bypaths innumerable. Only the ignorant speak in figurative language. It is they who extol the letter of the scriptures, saying, "There is nothing deeper than this." Consulting only their own desires, they construct their own heaven, devising arduous and complex rites to secure their own pleasure and their own power, and the only result is rebirth. While their minds are absorbed with ideas of power and personal enjoyment, they cannot concentrate their discrimination on one point. The Vedic scriptures tell of the three constituents of life, the qualities. Rise above all of them, O Arjuna, above all the pairs of opposing sensations. Be steady in truth, free from worldly anxieties, and centered in the self. As a man can drink water from any side of a full tank, so the skilled theologian can wrest from any scripture that which will serve his purpose. But thou hast only the right to work, but none to the fruit thereof. Let not then the fruit of thy action be thy motive, nor yet be thou enamored of inaction. Perform all thy actions with mind concentrated on the divine, renouncing attachment and looking upon success and failure with an equal eye. Spirituality implies equanimity. Physical action is far inferior to an intellect concentrated on the divine. Have recourse then to pure intelligence. It is only the petty-minded who work for reward. When a man attains to pure reason, he renounces in this world the results of good and evil alike. Cling thou to right action. Spirituality is the real art of living. The sages, guided by pure intellect, renounce the fruit of action, and, freed from the chains of rebirth, they reach the highest bliss. When thy reason has crossed the entanglements of illusion, then shalt thou become indifferent both to the philosophies thou hast heard and to those thou mayest yet hear. When the intellect, bewildered by the multiplicity of holy scripts, stands unperturbed in blissful contemplation of the infinite, then hast thou attained spirituality. Arjuna asked, "My Lord, how can we recognize the saint who has attained pure intellect, who has reached this state of bliss, and whose mind is steady? How does he talk? How does he live? And how does he act?" Lord Shri Krishna replied, "When a man has given up the desires of his heart and is satisfied with the self alone, be sure that he has reached the highest state. The sage, whose mind is unruffled in suffering, whose desire is not roused by enjoyment, who is without attachment, anger, or fear. Take him to be one who stands at that lofty level. He who wherever he goes is attached to no person and to no place by ties of flesh, who accepts good and evil alike, neither welcoming the one nor shrinking from the other. Take him to be one who is merged in the infinite. He who can withdraw his senses from the attraction of their objects, as the tortoise draws its limbs within its shell, take it that such a one has attained perfection. The objects of sense turn from him who is abstemious. Even the relish for them is lost in him who has seen the truth. O Arjuna, the mind of him who is trying to conquer it is forcibly carried away in spite of his efforts by his tumultuous senses. Restraining them all, let him meditate steadfastly on me, for who thus conquers his senses achieves perfection. When a man dwells on the objects of sense, he creates an attraction for them. Attraction develops into desire, and desire breeds anger. Anger induces delusion. Delusion, loss of memory. Through loss of memory, reason is shattered, and loss of reason leads to destruction. But the self-controlled soul who moves amongst sense objects, free from either attachment or repulsion, he wins eternal peace. Having attained peace, he becomes free from misery. For when the mind gains peace, right discrimination follows. Right discrimination is not for him who cannot concentrate. Without concentration, there cannot be meditation. He who cannot meditate must not expect peace. And without peace, how can anyone expect happiness? As a ship at sea is tossed by the tempest, so the reason is carried away by the mind when preyed upon by straying senses. Therefore, O mighty in arms, he who keeps his senses detached from their objects, take it that his reason is purified. The saint is awake when the world sleeps, and he ignores that for which the world lives. He attains peace into whom desires flow as rivers into the ocean, which though brimming with water remains ever the same, not he whom desire carries away. He attains peace who, giving up desire, moves through the world without aspiration, possessing nothing which he can call his own, and free from pride. O Arjuna, this is the state of the self, the supreme spirit, to which, if a man once attains, it shall never be taken from him. Even at the time of leaving the body, he will remain firmly enthroned there and will become one with the eternal.